Welcome to Hot Topics Live. Are you suffering from FOMO, fear of missing out, when you see other home based bakers with a website for their baking business? Well, fear no more, because today on Hot Topics Live, we're going to be looking at whether a website is the next best step for your baking business. So join me in today's Hot Topics Live discussion. We're going to be looking at the who, what, when, why, and how of a baking business website, and whether this is the right thing for you to be putting on your to-do list right now. So I want to start by sharing a kind of a interesting story with you. And it's about when I first started. Let's see, this would be my second baking business in 2007. And I knew that I wanted to have a website ready for this business before I opened. So this is, back in 2007, we didn't do a lot of stuff virtually, but I did find a website designer online. I never met her in person, and I trusted her to build this website with my feedback and my vision for what I wanted my bakery to be. And she did an amazing job. She captured like the feel that I was looking for, and we had some brand colors, and I felt great about it, and it stayed in my budget. And it was a really positive experience. Well, here is what ended up happening because my baking business had a website. Within probably about the first 6 months of being opened, Rachel Ray with Everyday with Rachel Ray magazine contacted me and said they were doing this roundup of the top 5 cupcake stores in the country that you should see. And, this is in the beginning of what I call the cupcake boom. 2007, there weren't a lot of us doing it at the time. In fact, I was the only cupcake store in Kansas. And they put us on the map and said, if you're going to go from one side of the country to the other and visit the top 5 cupcake stores, then you need to stop in Topeka, Kansas and visit Daddy Cakes, which was what my name was back then. And that was pretty amazing because I had only been open for a short time and my town isn't that big. And so to get that kind of notoriety right in the beginning stages of my business was fantastic exposure for me. And then the second great thing that happened from having that website is the Food Network called me and asked me if I wanted to be on a new show that they were filming. Many of you know that show was called Cupcake Wars. And so before I had ever heard of it, obviously because it was brand new, seen one or really even knew what I was getting myself into, I went and competed on Cupcake Wars. First episode, first season. Now they did like mix up the order. So now I think it technically looks like the second episode, but they were all filmed together and ours was filmed first. So I was literally the first one. And that was just an amazing amount of exposure to go on national TV with my small baking business that I just opened like within a year. So that story is really meant to illustrate what can happen if you have a website for your baking business. It's an amazing way to increase your exposure and your visibility. And we're going to talk about all the other great things that a website can do for you. So before we dig into that, this is the point in Hot Topics Live where I would normally turn to the chat and say, let's see who's here today. But because I am traveling this week, I'm filming this ahead of time. So if you're watching in the chat, just know that I am like virtually checking in on you and saying hello. So I still want you to say hi in the chat because we are still monitoring this as we speak. And our lovely virtual assistant is here today, and she's going to be dropping in some important links and answers to any questions that you have as we go through this slightly less than live recording of Hot Topics this week. All right, so what I want to talk to you guys about this week is how to know if a website is the next best step for you. Because when I started out this recording, I said, Do you have FOMO? Are you looking at what other bakers are doing, comparing yourself and saying, I don't have that website yet, and that is on the top of my list? Well, I'm going to give you a couple of criteria, a couple of things to think about before you decide if that's the next best step for you. So first and foremost, what shape is your baking business in? Are you just getting started and putting all of your systems in place? Or are you pretty much rocking it? Do you have your menu? Are you making a profit? Do you have room for more business to be taking place? These are really important questions because remember that a website drives traffic to your business. So are you ready for your traffic to increase? If you're not, that's okay. That's what the beginning stages of your business are for. So think about your menu. Is your menu profitable? If you remember last week's Hot Topics Live, we talked about how to create this profitable menu for your business and how to structure it so that you were pointing your customers at the item that makes you the most money. So if you haven't done that work yet, if you haven't priced out your baked goods and really taken a look at your profitability, then that might be something that you want to do first before you start to drive new business to your business. So what does your menu look like? Is it in good shape? What do your profits look like? Do you know if you're making a profit yet? I'll tell you a little side story. I tell this story a lot because it is such a good example for why you have to stop and make sure you have profit in your business first. So one of my baking clients had just started working with me and just started using the pricing method and priced out her oatmeal raisin cookie, and which she was selling for $1 a cookie. And when we took a look at the ingredients, her overhead, the labor that it takes to make the cookie, and came up with this cost of goods sold, and what she was actually selling it for, we quickly discovered that she was losing almost 5 cents a cookie. So if I'm losing 5 cents a cookie and I sell more cookies, am I going to make more money? No, I'm going to lose more money. So I don't want you to try to direct more traffic at your website and sell more of something if you don't know if you're making money on it yet. So that client has fixed her pricing. It was a mistake, actually. Something got messed up on her menu and the price just got printed wrong. It was a quick fix, and thank goodness, because you do not want to be losing money on a regular basis in your business. So I always like to share that story because I think it's very relatable, and I think any of us could do that. Just put something on your menu, not know the price, start selling it, and then wonder at the end of the month, where is all the money? So you don't want to start your website yet if you aren't really sure yet of your profits. So I kind of call it like a growing phase or a stabilizing phase. And if you are in a growing phase in your business, this is where you are looking for more business, or you are really working on getting more customers. But when you're in a stabilizing phase, this means that you're testing. You're essentially testing your business. So you're getting better at organizing your orders each week. You're getting your recipes so that they're consistent every week. You're running all of your prices through the pricing calculator or whatever method you use to know that you're making a profit. And you're really like stabilizing your business. Once you're stable, then you can start to grow again. And this is sort of a cycle that businesses go through over and over again, where you're going to grow a little, and then you're going to stabilize a little, and then you're going to grow a little, and then you're going to stabilize a little. So what business or what stage is your business at? I'd love it if you could just think about that for a second and put that in the chat. Like just say, I'm growing right now. I got a lot of work to do on my systems, or I am stabilizing. I'm testing all of my systems because I think I've got things in place. You are always going to be going through this cycle of growing and stabilizing. So drop in the chat which one you think you are. That'll be really fun to see where most of you are in your business. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is why you will eventually need a website. So can you work without a website? Yes, you absolutely can. But if your goal is to grow your business into something bigger than it is right now, then a website is a great tool to help you do that. So first of all, a lot of searches start online these days. And so that beginning search for your customers looking for a solution to whatever it is they need might start with something like searching bakery near me. And if your business is listed either through a Google business listing or by having a website, then you can come up and search and be able to potentially grab a new customer just because you had that visibility online. Your website is going to give you a great first impression. So if somebody lands on your homepage and you have taken the time to fill your website with high quality photos and all of the essentials that a website needs, then you're going to be able to make a really good first impression. Your customers are going to stay on your website, look at your menu, find out how to order from you, and even maybe reading some of your frequently asked questions so that they know that you are a good fit for their needs. So these are all really good reasons to have a website. And a website can also help you do more reach outs with email marketing. And if you missed that training that we did about, I think it was 3 weeks ago, where we talked about, does your business need an email list? Well, your website is a natural way to collect emails and then grow your email list. You can have a sign-in, an opt-in box where you, sign up to get my newsletter. They give you their email, and now you can do email marketing because of your website. So having a website is a no-brainer for almost every baking business. It will help you with all of those essentials to grow your business. But the real question is it right for you right now? So let's say that it is, that you have passed the test, that you are making a profit and your business is in a stabilizing phase and you really are ready to take the next step. What do you need to do to get started? Well, let's be sure to look ahead at your year or your season that you're in and make sure that you have the time for this project. So I wouldn't tackle a new website right before Valentine's Day or heading into the Christmas season. But if you understand your seasonality and know when your slow period is, then that would be a really good time to say, all right, during the month of August, I'm going to be working on my website because I know my sales are going to be a little bit slower. And if you haven't had a chance to go and watch last week's training, that is where we talked about how to plan your bakery for the season. And that would be a great refresher if you don't know yet what your season looks like and when a good time for you would be. Then go ahead and Juliet will drop that link right now, and you can go ahead and check out that training if you need some help planning the seasonality of your business. So now you're going to create some time to do this. You're going to allow yourself some time to work on your website by looking ahead at the seasons and figuring out, when is my slow season? When am I going to tackle this? And, set yourself up for success by giving yourself some time to work on this. You're going to need to have a lot of information kind of gathered together when you begin to start. Some of the things that I recommend are having your menu with the prices, like printed out right next to you when you go to work on your website. You're going to want to have some about you information about you and about your business, and have a lot of your highest quality photos that you have available. So you do not have to do a full official photo shoot if you don't want to, but constantly be refining your photos. So every time you're sending out a product that you make a lot, have an idea of whether you need a better picture of that. Happens all the time where you end up just grabbing a photo, your product is like inside the box, maybe it's even got the packaging on it, and that's not the best way to show off what's on your menu. So having a lot of high quality photos is going to help you build your site. You need more photos than you think. And then the next thing to do to get started is to think about whether you want to DIY this or if you want to pay to have one done. So in the beginning of of our training today, I mentioned that I actually paid to have mine done the first time because I really didn't know anything about how to get started with the website. And that was a great experience for me, but I also had the budget for that. But maybe you're feeling like, I think I want to DIY this because I don't have the budget for it. And there are a lot of newer ways that you can build a website pretty easily without having to understand like HTML and WordPress and all of the hosting kind of issues. So I have a blog post all about this topic. Of course I do. And you can get that right now in the chat. Juliet will drop that. This is, does your baking business need a website? You can read a little bit more about the topic, and you can check out the links to several different resources that I find are pretty useful for building your website. One of the ones that I actually have built a couple of different little websites on is Weebly. And so I have a YouTube tutorial, pretty much start to finish. It's about a 45-minute tutorial on how to build your website with e-commerce on Weebly. So Weebly is sort of a affiliate partner. I don't know their exact relationship, but they are a part of Square, and it integrates well with Square. And so if you are a Square user for your payment processing, then you can use that really well with Weebly, which is why I chose to do the tutorial on Weebly and not Wix. Those are two that you can build your websites on, but it's really not that hard to build an e-commerce website. So the YouTube tutorial, if you would like to check that out, Juliet will drop that in the chat now, and you can really set aside a weekend and just go for it. I think that tutorial takes about 45 minutes, and I have had people comment in that video saying this is the easiest to understand tutorial about Weebly on YouTube, which is amazing because I am by no means a website building professional. I do love it. I build my own website for the Better Baker Club, but I have a lot to learn when it comes to building a website. It's not my area of expertise, but I do know my way around enough to do that tutorial and show you how to put together that e-commerce level of your website. You can literally take orders on your website if you want to, and that does have some complications that come with it, mainly managing your inventory levels. And I talk about that in the video as well. So you can opt out of the e-commerce element, or you can decide, yes, I do want to do that. I really want to tackle that. That's amazing. Okay, so you're going to have your about section written. You're going to have your menu and some prices, and set aside some time when you know you're not going to be busy with orders and DIY it. Or you can go pay and have somebody create one for you. So you can look at resources like Fiverr, or I believe it's called Upstart. I'll have to double check that. And just pay someone to do it for you. And I really, don't have any resources for you on how much that might cost, but there are a lot of places where you can get contractors to just build websites for you. So those are your options for kind of like how to go about building your website. Now, I do have one more element to today's training, and that is I want to give you 5 bonus pages, a bonus section with 5 pages that your website should have when you're first getting started. So having had a few websites in the past, I kind of realized these are the things I absolutely have to have. And some of the things you just don't need right away. And when you're just getting started, go for a simple website. And now here are the things that you absolutely must have on your website if you're ready to do this. You definitely want to have a home page with some information about who you help. So that is your I help statement is what it's called in the biz. So it might be like, if you're a cake decorator, it might be like, I help people plan celebrations with custom cakes. Or it might be if you're like, a sourdough bread baker, I help you get fresh sourdough without even turning on your oven. Like, you get the picture. You write your I help statement, but you definitely want to know right when you land on someone's website who they are, who they help, and how to order with them. So your homepage should have your I help statement and an order here button. I like it when home-based bakers are really clear on where they're located. And so many of the Facebook pages that I visit and websites that I visit don't say where you're located. So remember that while you know where you serve, anybody who lands on your website might not. So it's really important to say, like, I help you celebrate your most important family events with cake, serving the Kansas City area. So your readers from out of the area are not placing orders with you and then coming back and saying, oh, wait, I thought you were someone else. You don't even deliver to where I am. That can get complicated. So the other thing, the other bonus page that your website needs to have is an about page. We talked about that. It needs to talk about why you love to bake, what inspires you, or the history of how you ended up starting your own business. That is the second most popular page on a website, is the about page. So just know that when you publish your website, your customers will be going to your about page. They want to know about you. So have some ideas about what you want to talk about there. Third page, of course, is your menu. And we talked about having your menu ready. I have several resources in this group for building your menu. And I will have Juliet drop a couple of links for you here. One of them is how to build a profitable home-based bakery menu. And the other one is more designed for just that layout and your graphics. And there's a lot of resources in there for designing your home-based bakery menu. And it says how to build a great dessert menu. So both of those, we have a lot of resources today, and we're going to link them in the chat right now. So obviously a great menu page is one that you must have on a new website. And then a gallery, and this is just photos of your best work. And we talked about that as one of the things that you need to have kind of prepared. If you don't have a lot of photos of your work, work on getting those. Know that, maybe in 6 months you're going to build this website, but right now you're collecting all the great photos. So a gallery of all of the work that you do. And then finally, the fifth page must have element. It doesn't have to be a page, but it definitely needs to be easy to find, is a contact me form or link or button, so that your customers can get in touch with you and ask you more about the order and about working with you. So there you have it. That is everything you need to know about a website for your home-based baking business. Let's just recap real quick. We talked about how to know if a website is the right move for you yet. And that really depends on your profitability and your quality of your recipes and the quality of your systems. Do you have that stuff figured out? If so, then a website might be the next best step. We know that eventually a website is a great platform for your business, so that you can serve your customers better. And what to do to get started. We talked about the main elements that your website will need, and listed a lot of resources in the chat for you to get started. And as well as linking to an actual tutorial to build it yourself if that is something you want to do. So normally in this part of Hot Topics Live, I would turn to the chat and we'd do a little Q&A. But since I am not technically live this week, I would love it if you have a question. I will pop into the chat and answer it and try to help you there. And just let me know what your thoughts are on a website. Is this something that you're ready for? Is it not? And be sure to check out all those resources we provided today. There's a lot. There's a lot for whatever stage you're at in your baking business. So thank you for joining me today. I will be back live next Monday, and I can't wait to see you then. Thanks for watching.